Hello, Danvers. Welcome to our 23rd MLK celebration. I'm Dr. Jutoshin Joko, Chair of the Danvers Human Rights and Inclusion Committee. It's an honor for me to be with you today. Thanks to Ethan Lally, Ben Thomas, Greg Dolan, and the whole DCAT team for filming and broadcasting this event. Thanks to the MLK subcommittee for putting this event together and changing it from an in-person to a virtual event due to the increased cases of COVID-19 in our community. Thanks to Mr. Grover and the DHS Chamber Singer. Thanks to my son Anthony Joko and Milo Rosengard and the Brandeis University a cappella group Voicemail for the beautiful music. Thanks to all the students of the Danvers Anti-Discrimination Club and all the students who submitted artwork for lending us their talent for this event. Thanks to all the sponsors who made financial contribution to this event. Thanks to my wife Jocelyn, my parents Maurice and Rebecca Kunga, and all my kids who have always supported me and kept me grounded. And thanks to all of you at home for watching. Before we go on with the program, please allow me to take another minute, as I did last year, to thank our doctors, our nurses, our pharmacists, pharmacy technicians, EMTs, and all the brave individuals who have continued to put their own life on the line to help us and protect us throughout this pandemic. Despite their heroic efforts, a lot of people have unfortunately succumbed to this pandemic or have gotten very sick. I wish all affected peace, comfort, and a lot of love in these difficult times. As we are gathered here today to celebrate and honor the legacy of Dr. King, I am reminded of the events that have come to light in our own town within the past year. So let's use today to celebrate, but also let's use today as a day to reflect. Let's pause and reflect on what kind of Danvers we want to live in. What kind of Danvers we want to raise our family in. Do you want a Danvers where a local business will racially profile people of color? Do you want a Danvers where Confederate flag is flown in our downtown? Do you want a Danvers where a Black Lives Matter sign is replaced by a noose at a local church? Do you want a Danvers where students can use racist, anti-Semitic, or homophobic language liberally? Do you want a Danvers where swastika appears on a tree, a park bench, or school bathrooms? I suspect the answer to this is no. That is not the Danvers we want. As we celebrate Dr. King's legacy today, we should use this opportunity to highlight the injustice that still exists, promote change, and honor his life with service in the name of peace, justice, and equality for all. One person or one group of people cannot and will not solve these problems by themselves. Dr. King said it himself. We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. Danvers, I know we are not perfect, and we may never be perfect, nor are we expected to be. But we can be great. Let's commit ourselves to the Danvers of tomorrow. We can be better, and we should do better. It will not happen overnight. I'm not naive. And this might sound cliche, But these challenges did not happen overnight either. It will take time, it will take patience, and it will take work. It will take hard work and commitment from all of us. Yes, every one of us. And yes, along the way on the journey, we will have setbacks. We will have struggles, but we have to stay the course. It will require greatness and service from every one of us. So let's commit ourselves to greatness and service today. To quote Dr. King, everybody can be great because everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to speak perfect English. You don't have to be born in Danvers or even born in America. You don't have to be the town manager or the select board or even hold public office. You need only a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love, and yes, you can serve. It will take residents to attend different committee meetings, the Human Rights and Inclusion, the school committee, the select board meeting, and speak out about the issues that they care about. Hold their leaders accountable and provide visible support to those who need it. It will take residents serving on those committees. It will take people being respectful of each other. It will take commitment and true citizenship. Danvers, we must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as foes. And everybody can be great because everybody can serve. We may have succeeded in making our town a neighborhood, yet we have not had the ethical commitment thus far to make it a brotherhood where everyone feels safe and welcome, to paraphrase Dr. King. And yes, Danvers, this is a call to action. I implore all of you, let's see each other humanity. Let's strive for greatness, and yes, Danvers, let's serve. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Kristen Perkins, Vice Chair of the Danvers Human Rights and Inclusion Committee and Danvers Town Meeting Member for Precinct 3. I believe that to serve, many times it means just showing up, even before you believe that you're fully ready or you know what you're actually doing. As Dee, our Danvers Human Rights and Inclusion Committee Chair, often says, offering your visual support for others, especially community members who may be different from you, is incredibly important. If you can show up for others, then you've already accomplished the hardest step to getting started.
Hello, I'm Gardner Trask, Chair of the Danvers Select Board. I'm pleased to offer welcome to today's remote celebration. I'd like to begin with a quote from Dr. King. "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." I promise to be brief, as there are far more knowledgeable speakers scheduled. People with personal life experience that can speak from the heart to the values and lessons Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. taught. His message of nonviolence, peaceful protest, and equity is so important in the face of recent events, both nationally and, unfortunately, here in our own community. Events we cannot ignore. We as a community cannot shy away from them. We must look unflinchingly into the mirror. And we need to help guide others on the path of social growth, including people like myself, to practice eternal vigilance. I know that I am at the beginning of my personal path of understanding. I know I have so much more to unlearn and to learn to be a supportive champion. I continue to work to uncover and understand my own prejudices, and I recognize and understand that I benefited throughout my life from white privilege. measured not by some special reserved benefits I received, but instead by the lack of systemic hurdles and roadblocks others faced that I had never understood before. I am fully aware of the optics of having a white, older male greeting you on a day meant to celebrate and commemorate Dr. Martin Luther King. I don't say these things to justify or validate my participation. I say these things for the benefit of others who may be where I was, who may be innocent or ignorant or indifferent or even indignant about the reality of oppression, not only in our history, but in our present lives. I say these things so that people in our community may consider taking their own personal first steps along their own path. I will conclude now. I will let the speakers more vested, more immediate, more impacted by a life and system that, in ways I can never fully understand, speak and provide that light and that love Dr. King preached. And I hope you, like me, take this day and this opportunity to reflect and learn. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Steve Bartha, and I'm the Danvers Town Manager. On behalf of the town, it is my pleasure to offer greetings and welcome to this important event. I am sorry that circumstances once again require us to gather virtually to celebrate the life and dreams of Martin Luther King Jr., a celebration we would all like to be experiencing in person. But special thanks are due to the Human Rights and Inclusion Committee and DCAT for making this event possible despite our current circumstances. Circumstances that include anxiety, exhaustion, anger, stress, sadness, and loss. The past 2 years have been hard, and our society remains poisoned by rancor, uncertainty, and confusion. But for some among us, the marginalized, the invisible, the disadvantaged, the world has always been these things. And that is why celebrating the life of Martin Luther King is so important. He toiled and sacrificed in order to make the world more certain, less exhausting, and safer for those who lacked a voice. I'd like to share a quote from 20th century philosopher and theologian Reinhold Niebuhr. "Nothing that is worth doing can be achieved in our lifetime. Therefore, we must be saved by hope. Nothing which is true or beautiful or good makes complete sense in any immediate context of history. Therefore, we must be saved by faith. Nothing we do, however virtuous, can be accomplished alone. Therefore, we must be saved by love. No virtuous act is quite as virtuous from the standpoint of our friend or foe as it is from our standpoint. Therefore, we must be saved by the final form of love, which is forgiveness." In my opinion, these four concepts, hope, faith, love, and forgiveness, are the antidote for what plagues our society, the embodiment of Dr. King's work, and qualities that I strive daily to practice. Thank you.
Welcome to the annual Human Rights and Inclusion Committee's Martin Luther King Jr. celebration.
I'm Mary Wormers.
And I am Keith Taverna, and we are the acting superintendents for the Danvers Public Schools. We would like to thank the Human Rights and Inclusion Committee, as well as Danvers Cable Access Television, for all of their hard work to put together today's program as we celebrate the life, legacy, and dedication to service of Martin Luther King Jr.
We're excited to share the work and talent of our students in the form of artwork, student presentations, and choral performances. The work represents our district's commitment to equity and inclusion, as well as to the teaching of civics, civic responsibility, and community service. We encourage all of our students and staff to commit a day of service in the name of Martin Luther King Jr.
My name's Eric Crane. I'm the chairperson of the Danvers School Committee. I'd like to welcome you to today's celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King, as produced by DCAT and by the Human Rights and Inclusion Committee. We're happy to have you with us, and we thank you for watching. Dr. King often spoke about the dignity of every human being, the need for love and understanding, and the need to communicate with one another, even those who disagree with us. One of my favorite quotes from Dr. King relates to the fact that all of us can be heroes because all of us can serve. And I think what he meant by that is that we don't have to serve in large ways or even public ways, but that everything we do for another person and for our community helps contribute to their dignity and the hope for a better community for all of us. So again, We thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed today's program. Thanks.
Hello, and welcome to the virtual presentation of the Martin Luther King Day celebration, brought to you by Danvers High's Prism Club and Women of the World Club.
I am Geo Jatta, and I am a member of the Danvers High School Women of the World Club.
And I'm Melina Agelikis, member of Danvers High's Prism Club, formerly known as SUFA.
We are also the high school's student representatives of the Danvers Human Rights Inclusion Committee. We will be reading the poem America by Youth Poet Laureate Amanda Gorman. A house divided cannot stand. To be divided, then, is to be devastated. The fact of the matter is that our country seldom counts all who matter. This is why red seeps from our flag. We will say again that language matters. From the beginning, the colonized are Kennings: African American, Asian American, Native American. Apparently, there is no white American. American and adjective. American and qualifier. The term split up and dismantled, stripped and striped.
Erasure demands a lifetime of rehearsal. Do you really understand what it is to be this dispensable body? We recognize the sobs now for the flags they were, the jerk of our heads as if waking from a dream or a nightmare. You decide. This is not the nation we built, at most not the nation we've known. No, oh no. This is the nation we've sown. It is our right to weep for the wound we've always been. A silent shock out of the blue. A head hung to another, or a head pillowed by a shoulder, is by far worth more than anything we've won or wanted. When told we can't make a difference, we still make a sound.
To me, the poem talks about America being divided, which causes destruction. America should come together to face and overcome the challenges before them. The poem includes America as a country and as an idea, suffering and fear, as well as hope and strength. She knows that now is the time for the youth of America to hope, fight, and make sure that they don't lose their country. This connects to the recent events that happened in our school. School has been tough due to the rise in racism, hate speeches, and the drawing of the swastika in the bathrooms. Everyone has to fight against discrimination, because if we all let these injustices slide, the consequences will be devastating, and the school won't be a safe place anymore. When these injustices happen, I see fear and confusion. In the eyes of teachers and students. In the future, I hope to see actions being taken when these things happen, and I hope to see an environment where everyone is safe and can voice their opinion.
In her poem, America, Amanda Gorman speaks of looking at the world we live in, seeing it for what it is, and the hardships we face as the people in it. We must be willing to face the past in order to do right by our future, but I believe there is still hope there. Martin Luther King's famous I Have a Dream speech outlined his dreams for the world in the future. I hope for a day when each and every person can feel truly safe and accepted walking through our town and the halls of our schools. Dr. King once said, "Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase." In his fight for racial equality, Dr. King took a big step. Not only did he have that faith, but he instilled it in the generations that followed in the legacy that he left behind. Thank you for allowing us to present at this year's virtual Martin Luther King Day celebration.
Each year we come together to celebrate and remember the legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It is a time to reflect on how far we have come as a community, as a Commonwealth, and as a nation, and a time to reflect on what we are capable of achieving. Dr. King once said, The time is always right to do what is right. We can each make a difference and do what is right. Whether it is through supporting friends and family, helping a stranger with groceries, taking a few hours to volunteer, or helping even in the smallest of ways, there is no wrong way to serve your community. Dr. King dreamed of a beloved community, one where every person, regardless of race, religion, national origin, gender, or sexual orientation, can feel at home. And we move closer to this ideal every time our community lifts up those in need, with each act of kindness we show each other. On this Martin Luther King Jr. Day, let us take a moment to recognize and celebrate the mission and work of the Danvers Human Rights and Inclusion Committee, whose members are dedicated to lifting up our town and our residents, and who continue to do so with resolve in light of the recent challenges our community has faced. Together with the committee's guidance and leadership, we can achieve our goals. I have no doubt that they will help us achieve our beloved community, one where equity and inclusion are not just ideals, but firm, unshakable realities. I feel honored and privileged to represent such an active and invested community and look forward to seeing what we can continue to achieve together. Thank you, Reverend King, for forever reminding us that the time is always right to do the right thing.
Hi, I'm happy to be here virtually as we celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., one of my favorite events in our town all year long. And I thank DCAT for making it possible for us to mark the occasion this year. Even amidst all of the strife, as we battle this virus and we watch attacks on King's vision of a multiracial democracy, we watch people trying to limit the right of Black and brown people to vote, and we see phony allegations of a stolen election. We even see cruel measures like a law in Georgia that prohibits people from delivering food and water to people standing in long lines to vote. For all of that, it is still very much a day when we can take inspiration from the example of Dr. Martin Luther King and others he led in the quest for justice and equality in our country. Locally, we are seeing and we are feeling the difficulty of battling incidents of racism and anti-Semitism. If anything, these incidents have shown us we have a long way to go, and the work is not always easy. But we are coming together. We're seeing some progress as our schools try to do better. So let us take today this opportunity, as King would have done, and recommit ourselves to his example of courage and leadership in the face of uncertainty. When Martin Luther King and John Lewis and other leaders of the civil rights movement walked across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Memphis into certain harm and danger, they kept going. We have to continue that work, and we have to work together to protect the foundations of our democracy, to protect voting rights. King would have had it no other way. I hope that we can work together in the coming days and weeks and months ahead. And I hope you and your family stay healthy. Thank you.
Swingtown to this great yearly celebration of the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. We hope this song, a spiritual called Hold On, is a little moment of hope in what we know is a difficult time. Thank you again for inviting us, and we hope you have a great day. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Amy Fassett, and I'm an 8th grade civics teacher here at Holton Richmond Middle School. I'm really excited and honored to be presenting just some of the work that we do here at Holton Richmond in civics class. In this presentation, I'll first have the students introduce themselves. I have 2 current students with me now, and as well as a student from last year and a now sophomore at Danvers High School, so 2 years ago, when the civics curriculum was first implemented here at Holton Richmond. They'll explain a little bit about what civics means to them, what this class is about, what community means to them as well as our first identity unit. They'll talk a little bit about the discussions, debates, and holding civil discourse. We'll take a look at our civil rights units, connecting the past and the present, along with talking about some other groups of people who have been marginalized in the past in tying in with equity and inclusion. And finally, I have a student who will mention a little bit about our student action project.
Hello, I am Ty Langlis. I am a sophomore at Danvers High School. I currently play hockey for the Danvers High School team, and I took civics 2 years ago in Mrs. Fassett's class.
Hi, I'm Camila Ferreira Gomez, and I'm a freshman at Essex Tech High School. I play soccer and basketball at the Tech, and last year I took civics at HRMS.
Hi, I'm Nora Nickerson. I am in the 8th grade at Holton Richmond Middle School. I'm in the musical and Hawks and Harmony. I am currently taking civics.
Hi, I'm Andreas Pierce. I'm also in 8th grade at Holton Richmond Middle School. I do all year art and football, and I am currently taking civics.
What is civics? Civics education can also be considered citizen education or democracy education. It's a vehicle that prepares students and young people today to become well-informed citizens and future voters, while also allowing them to be active, civically engaged community members today. It's a tool to teach our kids about democracy and the importance of upholding these values.
Why civics? The future of democracy depends on our students' development of knowledge, skills, and dispositions that will enable them to embrace democracy's potential while recognizing its challenges and inherent dilemmas. Massachusetts Curriculum Framework for History and Social Sciences.
Civics is important to me because it teaches us about our rights as humans and how to obtain citizenship in the U.S. Also, we learn about key parts of the government and what they do exactly. And then lastly, it helps us understand how the government works in today's world through the judicial branch, executive branch, legislative branch, and all kinds of important parts of our government that we need to know about.
Community means a lot of different things to me. It means the people that live around me, like my neighbors. It also means a group of people that are active parts of my life, like my coaches, my teachers, my family, my friends. It's also different people with different backgrounds.
Civics to me is a safe community where we can explore different cultures, learn how to respect other people despite their backgrounds, learn how to talk about difficult topics without being insensitive to others' past.
Civics is important to me because it helps tell us what has happened in the past and how we can prevent those things from happening in the future, or build off of them to make a safer community. It also helps us learn about the past and what decisions have led us to today. And I also think it's important because it helps us learn about other people's opinions and how to accept those opinions.
To me, community is a group of people that support one another when one is down. They're also a place to turn to. And lastly, they're a group of people that you journey through your life with and experience the joy of life with.
Community means a lot of different things to me. It means the people that live around me, like my neighbors. It also means a group of people that are active parts of my life, like my coaches, my teachers, my family, my friends. It's also different people with different backgrounds.
To me, a community is a safe space where we can all be who we are, a respectful and kind space where you feel welcomed, and a space that you would want to be a part of.
I think community means a place where everyone can feel safe, a place where we can all be ourselves, and a place that has no hate towards others. Once you understand and appreciate other people's cultural backgrounds, then you can also connect with them more.
For our Identity Tree project, our goal was to examine ourselves. We saw what was important to us either through graphics or words on the outside and inside of our identities. Our big questions were, who are you and how does that influence your view of different things in the world? The project itself was to create a tree representing different parts of our lives. Our roots were our past. The trunk was who we are now. Outside of the trunk on the left side is how other people see us. And on the right side, we did the images we create for ourselves, how we put ourselves out there, whether that be on social media or how you want people to see you in general. And the branches, the leaves, the sky, any of that was our hopes and dreams for the future and changes we want to see in the world. Some of them personal, some of them just general. And we got to see who and what were big parts of our past, as well as who we are now, and even dive deeper into how those have affected each other. While keeping everyone's tree anonymous, we were able to see other identities being displayed around the room by doing some form of a gallery walk. From doing this, we could see what topics and cultures and backgrounds we would need to be sensitive around, whether that be in the classroom or outside the classroom community. We could recognize that our identities and experience can shape our own biases as well as other people's. This is especially important to understand when it comes to sharing and discussing opinions in class, so we can speak our mind without being insensitive. During our identity unit, we were sharing our own experiences, learning more about others and finding more about ourselves, becoming aware of how our experiences affect our biases and how to be respectful with said biases.
During the identity unit, we were able to learn new personality traits about people, see ourselves through other people's point of views, and be able to walk in each other's shoes and learn about our experiences.
The further backwards you can look, the farther forward you are likely to see.
Last year in Civics, we had a Civil Rights unit. We learned about how different people throughout history have made changes by protest and different ways to see a change in your community. We learned about how to not be racist, how to be more aware of problems around you, and be kind to other people, even if they're different than what you are. What we took away from this in the end was that if you want to see a change in the community, you have to be the one to start it.
When we did the Civil Rights Unit in Civics, we learned how there's been a lot of groups that have been suppressed in the past. For example, women, people of color, people of a preferred sex, people with differences, any type. They've all had difficulties and struggles in the past because people have had unfair prejudice towards them. Part of the project and part of the unit was learning how to accept those type of people and learning to be aware of your own bias towards them and how to fix it. I thought the unit was also very interesting because we learned about how in the past people have been treated badly and how they've responded in an amazing way. They haven't been violent, or that even if they have, they've made a change and tried to get the community to act together for the better, like not having any more segregated schools and things like that.
Debates and discussions, practicing and engaging in civil discourse is necessary in order to have a productive conversation, especially when it comes to talking about long-standing and sometimes controversial issues. Topics that I discussed when I took that course were the Second Amendment rights and cruel and unusual punishment, for example, the death penalty. What I learned was how to argue in a formal and polite way, but at the same time debate a topic that can be controversial and debate in an effective way.
The Student-Led Action Project is a cumulative project that provides young adults, like ourselves, the opportunity to practice our civics knowledge of our local government as well as our civic skills in order to identify a problem and to engage in the process of making change in our community. For me, the Student Action Project is something I'll never forget. It was an opportunity for me to finally make a difference within my community and have support by my teachers and adults in my life. We chose problems that we were interested in and came up with ideas to solve them. We came up with solutions, with plans, with steps. We emailed people who could help us make these changes. I can say that it really made me feel good. It made me feel like what I did mattered. And what I took away from it is something I'll always remember. I'll always remember that if there's a problem that I see that I want to fix, I can be vocal about it and I can make changes to improve it. My group, we reached out to important people like our principal and our health assisting teachers to fix problems that we saw that were unfair towards girls in particular. And we wrote emails. We stayed after so we could work together as a group and draft everything we wanted to say. In the end, we did get to see differences and changes made in our school system for us to be able to be provided with necessary materials that we did need, and with the help of our teachers and our guidance counselors, our health assisting teachers, and everybody, we did get to see a change, and it was so great for us to see that. Honestly, I will always remember that, and next time or whenever I see something that I want to change, I'll remember this and I'll stand up for myself, be vocal, and try to see the difference that I want to make.
Overall, I want my students to learn that along with the opportunities and freedoms that they have as Americans, they also have a responsibility to leave this world a better place.
Maybe I'm foolish, maybe I'm blind, thinking I can see through this and see what's behind. Got no way to prove it, so maybe I'm lying. But I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put the blame on me. Take a look in the mirror. What do you see? Do you see it clearer, or are you deceived? What you believe? 'Cause I'm only human after all. You're only human after all. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put your blame on me. Some people got the real problems. Some people out of luck. Some people think I can solve them. Lord, heaven to fuck. Someone is human after all. Someone is human after all. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put the blame on me. Don't like my opinion, don't ask me to lie. Beg for forgiveness for making you cry. Making you cry. 'Cause I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put the blame on me. Oh, some people got the real problems. Some people out of luck. Some people think I can solve them. The Lord heaven to fuck. Someone is human after all. Someone is human after all. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put the blame on me. 'Cause I'm only human and make mistakes. 'Cause I'm only human, it's all it takes to put the blame on me. Don't put the blame on me. Give them no profit on the side. She don't look in her human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put the blame on me. I'm only human. I do what I can. I'm just a man. I do what I can. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put the blame on me.
Without me no more, she couldn't live without me. Get back to where I once belonged. Ooh, anywhere. made up my mind, ain't wasting no more time. I made up my mind, I'm falling for you. I've been playing schoolboy, dishing playing schoolboy games. Got to and high, yeah. But I've been to the river, seen water and sweet red wine. Open your eyes. Now I threw the book at yesterday. And I just got one thing to say. Hey, yeah. I made up my mind, ain't wasting no more time. I made up my mind, I'm falling over you. Might have bust my world, just faking my way through. I made up my mind, I'm falling over you. Ooh, yeah. 7 busy mornings, Noah had himself in the ark. Ain't done overnight. But I've been working this year, gonna find the monkey fruit by dark. No, you did it right. I did it right. Oh. Now I burned the book out yesterday. And I just got one thing to say. Hey, I made up my mind, ain't wasting no more time. I made up my mind, I'm falling over you. Might have bust my world, just faking my way through. I made up my mind, I'm falling over you. To the bridge, shoot up. Oh, shoot up. Listen to me, baby. Shoot my world's a bit of twisted. Sorry, tell. Shoot like a big thing. I was a selfish thing. Your video was buzzing, girl, and I take pleasure sting. Shoot my belly stucking. My lips are still alive. Feed me your love, it's so fine. Hey, yeah, I made up my mind. Ain't wasting no more time. I made up my mind. I'm falling over you. Might have bust my world, just faking my way through. I made up my mind, I'm falling over you. I made up my mind, ain't wasting no more time. I made up my mind, I'm falling over you. Might have bust my world, just faking my way through. I made up my mind, I'm falling over you. I made up my mind, I'm falling over you. I made up my mind, I'm falling over you.
The quote, "Everybody can be great because anybody can serve," means a lot to me as an AmeriCorps graduate and as somebody who studied public and community service studies in college and in my professional work as a social worker. I think the lens of serving others is a really important lens to have when we look at becoming more of a just society and honoring the legacy that Martin Luther King has left for us. I think he understood that when we are in service to others and with one another, we can break down a lot of biases and connect around our shared humanity. So I'm grateful for this prompt to really reflect on that and to think about the ways in which I will serve others in the year ahead, one of them being serving on the Human Rights and Inclusion Committee. And I hope that others can find ways that they can serve the community as well.
Thank you all. Thank you all for watching. Thanks to everyone who participated in today's program. And for you at home, we must learn, and everyone for that matter, we must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. And everybody can be great because everybody can serve. So Danvers, as we gather here next year to celebrate the legacy of MLK, each and every one of us should ask the question, throughout 2022, how do we hold the ideals of MLK? How did we serve? And how did we make the Danvers of tomorrow great for everyone? Thank you, Danvers, and happy MLK. Thank you.